Welcome to Health News and Views, a podcast dedicated to bringing some clarity to the health disparities in the Black and Brown communities. If you believe there's a connection between food, sickness, and health, then you're in the right place. Let's begin the process of unraveling the truth. And now, your host, Lynn Pete.
Well, greetings and welcome back to another episode of Health News and Views, Food, the Final Frontier. I'm your host, Lynn Pete. Well, thanks again for stopping by. This episode of Food, the Final Frontier is dedicated to a topic with, very little to do with food. It holds equal importance for Health News and Views and Food, the Final Frontier. We hope that this episode is as enlightening to you as it was for us to do research. So this episode is actually being re-recorded and rebroadcasted from a version that was way back in January 2023 when we posted Agent Clean. And there is a part 2 to this as well, and that's Toxic Chemicals, Weapons of Mass Destruction. That was dated January 27, 2023. It was done in an effort to continue the conversation about warnings that we're receiving from the Surgeon General's office in a podcast we just did about a week or so ago about how alcohol use has been now linked to cancer. And what I intend to show is that while a glass of wine can be deadly, so can some household chemicals that we are hanging around with every day, all day long. And so this topic presents to you some of the findings that we found of household chemicals that are causing or wreaking havoc in our homes, and we don't really know what the problem or what the cause is. But let's see if this helps you out. But just remember that the subject matter provided in this podcast or any of our published documents is really for informational purposes only. Food, the Final Frontier, and our partner, healthnewsandviews.info. We do not attempt to treat, diagnose, or cure any disease or condition. Always check with your healthcare provider before making any lifestyle, dietary, or prescription drug changes. And now, I would like to bring your attention to our habitual use of household cleaning products. And again, this information may not be new to you, but it bears repeating. And as generations come of age and begin their journey toward adulting, it is hoped that an understanding of the dangers lurking in the home will be noted and heeded. And so, have you ever considered that products that are supposed to be good for our health, to ward off germs, bacteria, viruses, and contaminants may also be the cause of our ill health? Well, here's a question for you. Why do we continue to use products that clearly tell us that they contain ingredients that are caustic, corrosive, poisonous, toxic, or even deadly? And why is it necessary to use something so dangerous that the EPA, the CDC, Poison Control, and even the manufacturers themselves will warn us of any type of impending danger? So that if we are exposed to, swallow, or come in contact with these products, the results can be life-threatening. This is what they're telling us, is right on the label. And well, since I brought that up, let me explain that there are only 3 ways to become a victim of poisoning. 1, you ingested it. That means you ate it or you swallowed it. 2, it was absorption. It means it absorbed into your skin. Or 3, you inhaled it. An independent study conducted by the American Thoracic Society, and this is way back in 2018, but they said using household cleaning products as little as once a week is as damaging to the lungs as smoking a pack of cigarettes every day for 20 years. What? But first, here are some more statistics that floored even me. Toxic household chemicals, facts, and some statistics posted that on April 28th in 2009 in this article by Mother Earth, it said that since 1950, at least 70,000, that's 70,000 new chemical compounds have been invented and dispersed into our environment. And only a fraction of these have even been tested for human toxicity. And we are, by default, conducting a massive clinical toxicology trial. And our children and their children are the experimental animals. U.S. Product Safety Commission found that there was 150 chemicals found in the home, just 150 in your house, that are directly linked to allergies, birth defects, and psychological disorders. And CDC reports 75% all cancers are coming from household chemicals. Now, who are the people that would most likely be affected by these chemicals? Well, they say there's 3 groups of people, and they're primarily infected because they're indoor with the chemical concentrations, because they spend more time indoors. and their immune systems may be weaker or even compromised. And those three groups are infants and toddlers, the chronically ill, and the elderly. Now, the American Association for Poison Control said the leading cause of death to children under the age of 14, that's excluding accidents, is cancer. And one child is poisoned every 30 seconds in the U.S. Recently, I heard it could be as many as every 15 seconds. But according to the American Association of Poison Control, they said every 30 seconds in the U.S., a child is poisoned. What are some of the products? They're actually the Source Guide for Hazardous Products Around the Home. Household Hazardous Waste Project, this was 1989, went back that far. It said women who work in the home have a 54% higher death rate from cancer than women who work outside the home. Now, we know that number probably has increased. That was a long time ago, since the pandemic, because a lot of people went back home, and so many of us stayed there and worked from home. So these numbers are still very relevant. The women who work from home have a 54% higher death rate from cancer than women who do not. So, what are products that are contributing to the problem? Oh, let's take a look at the list. Consumer Law Project said they had 12 of the most dangerous household chemicals. And I'll give you a few of these too. I won't hose you down with too many statistics and all, but you need to know. Air fresheners. Don't let the commercials fool you. They said most air fresheners can interfere with your ability to smell by disabling your nasal passage with an oil film or a nerve deadening agent. And common chemicals and air fresheners include formaldehyde, that's a highly toxic known carcinogen, and phenol, which can cause hives, convulsions, and circulatory collapse, coma, and even death from an air freshener. Okay, ammonia, it's a volatile chemical and that can damage your eyes, your respiratory tract, your skin. Bleach, this one. And people think it's harmless because we figure we're killing bacteria, we're killing germs. But bleach is a strong corrosive that can damage your skin, your eyes, your respiratory tract. And by the way, never, ever, ever mix bleach and ammonia products together. The fumes can be deadly. Carpet and upholstery shampoos, dishwasher detergents. Most of these dishwasher detergents are toxic because they contain high concentrations of chlorine. And it's the number one cause of child poisonings, dishwasher detergents. Can you believe that? There's drain cleaners, furniture polish, mold and mildew cleaners, often contain sodium hypochlorite. That's a corrosive, which can lead to fluid in the lungs. And it has formaldehyde in it, that's highly toxic too. There's certain chemicals that you can use, or even a sealant, so that so that the mold does not collect. Oven cleaners. I haven't really seen any oven cleaners in a while, but I guess there's still some out there. Antibacterial cleaners, laundry room products. See, the problem is that a lot of the laundry room products that we would use can burn the eyes, the skin, the respiratory tract, and if exposed to other chemicals like hypochlorite and bleach, they may even form chlorine fumes that could be fatal. So if the smell of chlorine is if it's a lot for you, just imagine if it's a child. They're down at floor level most of the time, or closer to the floor than we are. So they're inhaling these fumes too. Don't forget toilet bowl cleaners. And not to be left out, pesticides, some shampoos, these say lice shampoos, car wash and car polishes. One more thing I want to add to this is that, did you ever look at those labels and they say danger, warning, caution? Well, this information is actually new to me too, and I know I saw it on there, but I didn't know what each of these words actually means. Let me tell you what they are. It says danger. It means that the chemical is harmful or fatal if swallowed. Ingestion of a small taste to a teaspoon could kill a child or an average-sized adult. If the label says warning, that means that the chemical is harmful if swallowed. Ingestion of a teaspoon to an ounce could kill an average-sized adult. Caution. It means that the chemical is harmful if swallowed. Ingestion of an ounce to a pint could kill an average adult. So let's stop using these harmful household cleaning products and find alternatives. And if you would like to know my personal belief, leave me a message. I got a company that I swear by. But they're not a sponsor of my program. But anyway, but here's the paradox though. the cautionary warnings of keep out of reach of children kind of counterproductive, particularly if all we're going to do is take the products, put them in a protective cabinet, but then take them out and start slathering them all over the counters, the stove, the door handles, the baby beds, the washing sheets and towels. Okay, so we're taking the toxic substance and we're just smearing it all over the house. Oh, you want to keep it away from children. But what's the point if you're going to clean with it anyway? Poison under the sink, that's what the EWG, that's the Environmental Working Group. I love them, I do. They did a report way back in 2010, and they said the American Poison Control Centers fielded more than 116,000 calls about household cleaner accidents involving children under the age of 5. And the emergency rooms records show that in 2006 alone, 10,318 children under the age of 5 required some form of medical treatment as a result of poisoning with household cleaners, and 744 of them had symptoms that were life-threatening or resulted in significant disability. Please be mindful as we're using household chemicals, the ones that have fruity scents to them in bottles that are clear and look like juice bottles to children and even some adults who may be mentally challenged think that they see something that is good enough to drink. I have heard stories, and I'll share them with you. If you give me a call, I'll share them with you. This was in a nursing home, and some of the stories of children who ended up in the emergency room because it smelled like blueberry or it smelled like orange, and they decided to take a sip. I just said it could be anywhere from a taste to an ounce, could be deadly. But there's more to the story. Thank you for stopping by to Health News and Views, Food, the Final Frontier. And please come back for more information. Do listen to part 2 for some of the most common chemicals and the dangers of their use. You may be surprised to know that a number of poisons that are lurking under the sink and what they could possibly trigger. Also, in part 2 of this episode, I also talk about what chemicals not to mix together with chlorine bleach, that you can make your own concoctions that could be deadly. Stay tuned for more of Health News and Views, Food, the Final Frontier. It's always a pleasure to have you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We're always looking for new listeners so that we can pass on the information as we do the research and get it done for you. Be a blessing to someone today. You know those blessings always come back, and sometimes tenfold. Make it a powerful day. Peace.